Hey everybody, I'm Sean.
And I'm Steph.
And you're watching Rampant Live with our very special guest, Graham Cohen. How you doing, Graham?
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Fantastic, man. It's amazing to have you on here. Thank you.
Yes,
Oh,
thank you.
no problem. Happy to do it.
We've known you for a long, long time, man. Almost,
Uh,
almost 10 years now.
yeah, getting that way.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know who Graham is, he's an amazing editor. He runs his own production company.
Yep.
Does everything. You are also even a diver. Is that correct?
I am. How did you know about that? You've been scouring my Facebook page.
I've known you for a decade, my friend. I know all about you. All about you. The good, the bad, and all the rest. Hey,
Yeah.
Ben King's in the house. Hey, Ben.
Hey, Ben.
Hey Ben.
So for those people who don't know you, let's just start from scratch. Who are you and what do you do?
Well, I am Graham. I go by Graham, and I only go by Graham. I own Artep Media here in sunny Florida, in Lake Mary, Florida, just down the road from the Rampant guys.
Yep.
Been doing this now on my own, 3.5 years now. So going through the trials of company ownership and slowly but surely making it work and living the dream, really. So
I have to agree. I personally prefer to work for myself instead of for somebody else, but that comes with its own hardships as well. And
don't you know it? Yeah, I don't think I'll go back to corporate work.
no, I've done my fair share. So let's talk about that. Let's start there. What kind of work do you see in this market? This is a very unique and different market, I think, than you find elsewhere in the States.
For sure, yeah. Well, here at Artep, we tend to focus on corporate videos. We do a lot of corporate work. We do a lot of e-learning development. My wife handles a lot of e-learning development here. We tend to go after the niche market where we're finding a lot of companies now, they're looking to do more and more either video training, marketing communications between companies, but they just don't have the big budgets anymore. Those big budgets are sort of dwindling away unless you're like a Coca-Cola or Disney of the world where you've got a bottomless pit of money where you can afford to spend $100, $200, $300,000 on a video. We handle the clients that don't have that, and we're doing smaller videos. We do a lot of, like I say, training videos, marketing videos. We just completed a video, for example, for Miller's Ale House, where we just do their internal core values and missions and value statement. So we do the stuff like that. And it seems to work for us. We've got right now we're getting a steady feed of work, and it's continuing, and we're growing and getting to the point now where I may be having to look to bring other people on pretty soon because we got so much work that my wife and I just can't really keep up anymore. Hey, I'm at the office here, and it's 9:05, and I'm not here because I am here because of the Rampant interview, but I was working up till 10 minutes ago. So
Yeah, you told me that in a text. That's amazing. You're always on the grind, man. And so that's a wonderful thing to be in as a small business owner, to say I have so much work and so many needs that I need to hire. And that's,
yeah.
not every
Yeah.
small business owner in town is saying that.
No, I like to say, I mean, like I do it. We have peaks and valleys. We have good months. And we have slow months. The nice thing about it is that our good months are starting to overtake our slow months. So, touch wood, we're doing okay. Where we are in 6 months, who knows? But we're continuing to grow. So we're excited about it.
To be at the 3.5 year mark and to be growing your business, that's phenomenal. That's really great. That's ahead of the curve. Everyone I listen to says, the 5 to 7 year mark is when you really should be worried if you're not growing, and you're way ahead of that curve. So congratulations, man.
Yes, congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So basically business to business then, is that your core niche?
Pretty much, yeah. We don't, when I first started out, I would take anything. I mean, I even did wedding videos, and even though they're great, it was a lot of work for little return. And I know some guys here in the Orlando market. We have a big wedding market here. They've done extremely well. Mm-hmm. But for us, I was looking more for the corporate work. We tend to go after the corporate work. I've got a lot of corporate contacts I've built up over the years through different businesses I've been in, and they have paid out for me. One of my biggest clients was an ex-vendor of mine, and we just stayed really good friends. We networked, and anybody in this business will know, but networking is the number one reason to keep getting work. So we sort of stayed together, and we have sort of connected, and we're doing extremely well together. I've got a lot of other connections through business associates that have continued to feed the well here. We don't advertise. I've never advertised once. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, I've never put any advertisement in. Everything that I've got is through word of mouth. So,
Well, congratulations, man. That means you're doing something right. I need to take the Graham Cohen class because we can't say the same thing. So we have a real quick question from Ben King. He wants to know where your accent is from.
That's a good question. I was born and raised in London. I'm a South Londoner. My dad is a Cockney through and through. I moved from London when I was 21 and moved to Canada and lived in Vancouver for 10 and a half years. And then from Canada, I came down here almost 19 years ago, and I've been here ever since. So I've got a sort of mixture of Cockney London, West Coast Canada, and Floridian in me. So
Very nice. So since we're talking about where you're from, can you tell everybody how you got started in getting your business and where you are now?
Oh, that's a long story. So we'll go back to. Well, I'm not a videographer by trade. I've only been doing this really for 15 years, maybe. I'm actually a mechanic by trade. So I did my apprenticeship in London, when I was 16 and I left school. My dad said, "You're going to get a trade and go to school. I don't care what you do after that." So he made me be a mechanic. And so I was a Audi, Volkswagen, and Mercedes mechanic and worked at that. I got out of that and joined the RAC, which is the equivalent of the AAA and CAA over here. And decided that, English life wasn't for me. I just didn't want to work 5 days a week and spend all my time down the pub on Friday and Saturday, spend all my money, and then do it all over again. So I moved to Canada and got a job with the British Columbia Automobile Association as a driver. So yeah, I was just a regular driver going out and rescuing people. Quickly became one of the top producing drivers and got the position as a trainer within 5 years, and I became the provincial trainer. And that was really my first intro into video, because one of my jobs was to produce the lockout manuals on how to break into every vehicle on the face of the planet, to train the guys that come out to you. And when you lock your keys in the car, or you lose your keys and you need to get into your car, these guys would be using the manual that I produced and the tools that I created. And one of the things that we did was to create a training video every year. And this is back before, we're talking back when we were doing tape to tape. We would go out and we had an old VHS recorder. We shoot on VHS machines. And then I would hire a local guy, and I'd take my tapes in, and I would sit there and watch him go from, blacking out the tape and going ins and out points and taping back and forth. And I was just fascinated by it. And, after 3 years of spending X amount of dollars trying to, keep producing these videos, I decided it can't be that hard. So I started doing some research, and I heard Adam on Tuesday saying that, he's been using Premiere and he was using Audition back when it was Call Edit 2000. Well, I was using Premiere when it used to be called Lumiere. If you remember, you guys have been in it long enough when Premiere was Lumiere. That's when I got started, and started playing around and just became enthralled by it and just did more and more and more. A strange turn of events happened. The AAA had an agreement with a national company here to do their lockout program, and they parted. And through internal communications, I found out that they were looking to do their own. So I thought, well, I've already done it. I've created manuals, I've created videos, I've created tools. So I shipped them everything that I've got and said, look, I've done it. You don't need to go out and reinvent the wheel. Here it is. And they promptly called me up and said, this is great. Could you come down for a couple of weeks and consult with us and show us how you do your research? I said, sure. So I came down. They quickly found out that this was more than what they'd bidden off. And they decided, hey, how much do you like Canada? And I said, well, I like Canada pretty much. But they said, can you come down? And they made me an offer I couldn't refuse. And I moved down here and got a job with AAA and started producing training materials and videos. And I got more and more into the video point of that part. I actually got an editor and started playing. And, I invested in my own equipment at home and been doing it ever since. And it's like, I tell my daughter, just do what you love to do and money will find you. And this is something I've just loved to do, and I've just never looked back, and I've continued to do it. And I've I left AAA. I went to work for another company that you and I, Sean, shared a little bit of time with.
Yeah, that company has a revolving door. I'll just say that.
Yeah, the company with no name. We'll just leave it at that.
You can say that. I affectionately refer to them as Evil Corp. So if you can say company of no name or Evil Corp. That's fine by me.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say. I mean, the people that were there were great. I met some of the best people in the world there. So
Agreed.
it's just the company wasn't driven. But I mean, some of the most intelligent and talented guys I've ever met. I mean, Eric, for example, was one of my best friends.
Eric is a genius. We love Eric.
Yes.
Perry Jenkins, one of the
Love Perry.
if not the best shooter I've ever had the privilege of working with. Incredible producer.
One of my favorite directors of all time.
Yep. Chuck Peters, for those of you who don't know, but Chuck Peters, extremely good guy. And then you had Ace on there just a couple of weeks ago.
Yep, Mr. Gates.
Yep.
Yeah, and and obviously you actually, I think I was on my way out as you were on your way in.
Yes.
Which
Made me go,
But and I've been, I did that, and then I got lucky. That's when after I left that particular company, I went to decide, I'm going to really work for myself, and I started my own company at that point, and we started Artep Media, and I got a phone call about 6 months later from one of my vendors that happened to be one of my biggest clients now, and said, there's a company that needs some e-learning assistance, and happens to be Hard Rock International. And I went down there. I was looking to try and get a consulting job out of them, and I was supposed to go down there for an hour to chat with the head of training, and 6 hours later I walked out with a job. They made me an offer I couldn't refuse, and I was there for 6 years. Managed to get Eric in, because I think Eric is still there. I don't know if you're online yet, Eric, but and we're talking about Eric Franks. I left Hard Rock 3.5 years ago, and at that point I made a decision. That's it. I'm done with corporate life, and my wife and I made a decision that we're going to give this a go. And she's been incredibly supportive of me, developing this. And I work from home, like many of you guys out there. I converted a spare bedroom and set it up as a little studio, and we shot in the garage, or we went to locations, and I bought a bit of equipment, I built a bit more, and now I own this studio, and I go to work every day, but it's my work. If I don't want to go to work, I don't go. But
right,
it's it's great. So that's how, in a nutshell, long story short. But that's how I got into this business, and I never looked back.
See, I love that
amazing.
though. I love that. Not only are you an entrepreneur, but you're deeply rooted in video, and everyone gets into video for a different reason. And I love your story. Let's for those of you who didn't hear it, Graham's company's name is Artep Media. Can you tell us how you got that name?
Interesting. Yeah. So that came to me within, when I decided I was going to do my own company. I made that decision within 4 minutes. My wife's name is Petra, or Petra, as she likes to be called, and I decided to name the business after her, so we called it Artep Media. So we didn't call it Petra Media, we called it Artep. We took her name and we turned it around and we made it backwards. And we figured, if Oprah can do it, we can do it. So that's how the name came about, and it's stuck ever since, and that's how we did it.
Ben has a cool question, and it goes along with my question. I'd like to know what you're currently editing on and shooting on. So what's your post gear looking like, and what is your preferred production gear looking like? And Ben wants to know, what was your first equipment?
My first equipment. Okay, well, as I say, the first thing I actually purchased and used was Premiere 4.
Premiere 4, okay.
Yeah, that was the first thing I used. Back when Premiere was a nightmare, quite frankly. I mean, it was only on a PC. You used to get the blue screens of death every third render. And it came to a head when I lost a whole project one night at 11:30 at night. And it took me 2 days to get everything back to where it was. And I decided I wasn't going to do this again. And I switched over to Final Cut Studio. I started at Final Cut 4 and stayed with them until 7 Studio went away and Final Cut 10 came out. So that was my first piece of equipment I ever bought as far as hardware goes. GL2, a Canon GL2 DV camera was the very first thing that I have. So what I'm using now, primarily CC. I'm using the Adobe Suite. I did start recently dabbling with hit film. I text you on that, Sean, to find out what your input was. I didn't buy it. I downloaded the demo, and I've been starting to play with it. And I think it's got a lot of promise, but still a little bit of way to go. But as far as an editing app, I think it's getting there. I have Final Cut 10. I think everybody does, just for the sake of just so I've got it. Final Cut. If you want to do something quick and dirty and really fast, Final Cut I'll go to, just because I can knock stuff out so quickly. But anything that I'm going to do, any sort of serious work, then I'll do Premiere, just because the fact I like the round tripping in for Audition and After Effects.
Right.
More than anything, I'm still amazed that Apple has not turned on motion in Final Cut, because motion is built into the code. It's there. You can actually go in, if you know how to hack it. You can go in there, flick a switch, and you can turn motion on. When I went in there and started playing around with a few things, it's buggy as hell, but it's there. So I'm wondering why they haven't pulled that switch yet.
I think that's their intent.
Yeah.
It makes sense that they're merging the two more and more.
Yeah, for sure. But it's been in there since the beginning. They just haven't, like I say, turned it on. So their updates are becoming, further and further apart. Yeah. So I'm not too sure. I keep looking, saying, when's the next Final Cut update? We're due for another one, but it hasn't come out yet. Yeah.
It's funny. We were just on a podcast last night, and they were asking us our opinion on that. And we talked to someone at Apple today too, and they're like, they're getting itchy because they have to answer all these questions, and Apple doesn't give them any information. So
No, of course they won't. Yeah.
So Ben has a question: do you use a Mac or a PC?
Yeah, I just saw that, Ben. Sorry, I'm trying to. I look at the thing, and I should pay more attention to.
No, it's all good. We have to read it back for the replay anyway.
Yeah, I am primarily a Mac person. I did away with PCs. Well, Premiere 4 ago. Let's put it that way. So I've been a Mac guy ever since. I did actually buy a PC for my wife just through the software that she's using for learning development. But I'm still a Mac guy. I'm due for a new computer soon, and I'm pretty sure, unless Apple tends to implode and it gives me no option, I will stick with a Mac. I'm actually editing on an iMac right now. I toyed with the idea of getting a Mac Pro, but with the way that you really wasn't getting much advantage with the Mac Pro when using CC. I mean, it's great if you're using Final Cut, you get that speed jump straight away. But for now, I've got an iMac. My iMac is 3.5 years old, Ben. So it's a 27-inch i7. Does not have a 5K. It's just that standard iMac, and I've got two 27-inch screens. So I've got 3 screens right in front of me right here. So. Yeah. And it's amazing. The more screens, I don't know about you, but the more screens you add, if I took one away, it'd be like cutting off an appendage. I couldn't do without it. I'm so used to having After Effects over here. I've got Audition over here. I've got Premiere, and I can just move back and forth.
Absolutely.
Taking that away now, it's like, no.
You're not missing anything with the trash can right now. My 5K iMac outrenders it almost exclusively. So my trash can has become my second machine, and I'm doing most of my work on my 5K iMac right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Now I heard that they're not. Apple stopped producing the 27-inch Thunderbolt. And there's a rumor that the new ones are coming out with a graphics with a GPU built into them. So
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that'd be great if it is. We'll see how it is.
Depends on the GPU, because you still have to have Adobe recognize it and actually allow you to use it. So
that does make me a little bit nervous, because with a trash can they've got those GPUs in there that Adobe can't take advantage of right now. So
right.
Yeah, we'll see.
Love rendering software only on a $6,000 Mac. It's just great life right there.
But Ben just knocked it on the head. It does the job, and it pays my bills. So as long as it pays my bills,
right,
I'm gonna continue to use one.
That's right. Well, we have a question from Mr. Eric Franks. He says, "What
Mr.
role
D. Eric Franks.
do you feel humor has in boring corporate training videos?"
Let me say, what was the question again?
What role do you feel humor has in boring corporate training videos?
Well, there's a back end to that because when I was at Hard Rock, we produced a lot of training videos that did have humor built into it. We created training videos that we did a parody of The Office, literally, and we did a parody of a CNN news show and built training into that. I think it has a great, you know, to me, I mean, not all companies are the same, but for me, if you're doing training videos, if you can get away and the company is progressive enough that they will allow some humor, humor is a great teacher because if you're watching a video and the humor has its place and it can assist in a knowledge transfer, all the power to it. I mean, when you're laughing and you learn by two things. If you learn by your mistakes, when I was apprentice, I changed the oil in the Mercedes and forgot to put an oil filter on, and I get in the car, put new oil in it, and start it up, and there was oil all over the floor. I did that once, and I've never ever done it again. And I learned by that because a $120,000 Mercedes with no oil filter and it makes a mess. Some of the best training stuff I've seen has been humorous. It's been different. I mean, many people out there know that you watch training videos and they're just boring, stoic. It's if you're lucky if you retain 20% of that. If you can have a joke about it and you remember something that's funny. I mean, how many times did you watch Seinfeld back when it was on, and the following day you're sitting around the water cooler repeating what you heard in Seinfeld because it resonated in your head and it was funny.
Yes.
That's how you remember it. And even to this day, I'm still remembering Seinfeldisms because they're funny. Not that I haven't seen them every other day, but it's something that sticks in your mind because it's funny. So if you can get away with it and the company is progressive enough, great. In the business that we do, it's sometimes hard to get them there. So we've had some companies where we turn around and say, hey, what about a little bit of humor? Or what about this? What about that? No, we don't want to do that because there's so many companies that are so worried with the HR that they're going to offend somebody. And, it's a rightful issue. But if you can get humor in it, all the power to you.
I agree. Paul wants to know if you're running the latest new, CC and if you're working in 4K.
I am running the latest CC. I updated it the other day. I tend to wait a week or two and I just scour the forums to make sure that nothing is blowing up.
Right.
But it seems to work. The one thing I have not done yet is updated to El Capitan. I'm still on Yosemite.
Okay.
And I don't know if I'm going to. I've got a laptop that I've put onto El Capitan and it seems to be okay, but I don't use it that very much. Right now, Yosemite is working for me, and I'm using, as the updates come out, I wait a week and then I do it. So, and what was the second part of the question? I'm sorry.
Are you working in 4K?
Do you know what? In the corporate world, nobody asked for it. Actually, you know what? I tell a lie. I got my first request last week for some 4K footage. I got a company called me, wanted to know if I could go out to North Carolina and shoot some footage, but they specifically asked it for 4K. And I said, what are you going to do with the footage? She goes, oh, we're going to make a DVD.
Haha, nice.
Okay. So you're looking at a lot of panning and zooming, and so you want to use those extra pixels for what? But they specifically asked for 4K. I think they're being progressive because they want to be able to have it. So
right.
As technology comes along, they can start using YouTube and stuff like that. But yeah, right now, no, I don't even have a camera that shoots in 4K. If I need one, I go and rent one right now.
So if you did use one, you'd be delivering in 1080 at this point.
Pretty much everything that I produce is either delivered in 1080, and I have some that just require 720. They want to keep that bandwidth as low as they possibly can, especially for some of the stuff, training videos that you do, and Eric will attest to this if he's watching. That you're creating videos, and Eric works for Hard Rock, and he can create videos, and he's sending them all over the world.
Right.
There's some countries in the world that do not have the luxury of internet speed that we do here. You want to try and send something to Bali, for example. You're lucky if you can get a fairly fast speed. So those videos need to be compressed down and keep that data rate as low as you possibly can. So again, I've not been asked for it. It's 1080 or 720.
Nice. Brady Betzel wants to know, he says, I see some music equipment. Do you produce your own for your videos?
Good question. No.
Next.
No, I got that's more of a hobby back there, Ben, than anything else. That's a Korg T2 that I bought in Canada almost 20 years ago. My wife says, when are you going to get rid of that? You never play it. But that's like, it's just a thing that she goes, you're hoarding. I said, well, no, that's a piece of equipment that I really like. It's a great synthesizer. And below that is a Pro 88, M Audio Pro 88, just a keyboard. Doesn't have any sound. I just plug it into main stage. I don't produce any music. I play around and I dabble. Like I say, Sean and I were talking about this just before we started the show, but I sort of dabble my thing. So I'd like to be able to do a little bit more, but quite frankly, it's just I just don't have the time. And on a preempt next question, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get is what is it I want to do next. Audio I'm pretty good with. I can get through as far as not producing audio, but as far as fixing it and cleaning it up and doing my video stuff in Audition. But the next thing I want to learn is more 3D. I've got a thing for Cinema 4D right now, so I really want to start spending more time with that. And the guys over at Grayscale Gorilla, it's a great website. So I
there's nobody better for C4D.
I spend a lot of time over there, and I try to set at least 4 hours a week where I put work aside and I spend 4 hours just resharpening the axe and trying to learn something every week.
That's important.
Yeah.
We're doing that with code and with all other kinds of things.
Yeah.
So I ask every single guest on the show this. What do you believe about the need to go to film school? And I preface that with you're not going to make any money as a brand new person in video, and you don't necessarily, in my mind, want to be $50,000 to $100,000 in debt when you leave. And within a stone's throw of you, there's like 7 film programs, and they're pumping out kids every 30 days. So what do you tell to these kids who all want to be the next big whatever, or all want to do the next big thing or whatever? What do you tell these kids who are fresh out of school and may or may not know, pardon my language, they're ass from a hot rock?
Yeah, that's a good question. I knew that was coming. Well, here, one of the things that we do here is we'll take interns on. I try to take on 2 interns a year, and I've been pretty lucky. And I am amazed by what little they know when they're coming out in their 4th year. I mean, one of the standard questions they ask me, they tell me the difference between 422 and 421 color depths or 444 color depths. And they look at me with this blank stare on their face and they go, what's that? I know it, really? I said, they can tell a story. It's great for telling a story. And I think that's where film school really sort of shines. It helps to have that storytelling. But storytelling is great, but you come out and they just couldn't move a mouse around because they have no idea what a blending mode is between 2 layers, or how to create that story within the tools of the trade. I don't know. I don't know if I know the answer perfectly. I myself never went to film school. Like I said earlier on, I did all this on my own.
Right.
I think it has its place. My daughter right now, she's looking to try and maybe get into this business. She's really into photography right now. And when she's finished her university up in Canada, she mentioned to me the other day, Dad, can I come down and I want to go to Full Sail? And I thought about that, and I told her, I said, you live in Vancouver, one of the biggest film industry locations on the face of the planet. I said, go, if you really want to do that, look into the Vancouver Film School. I mean, one of the best schools on the face of the planet. I mean, here, if you really want to learn something, it's either California or New York. Vancouver, in Canada, you live in, Hollywood too. So, I'm fully supportive of her. If she wants to go to Vancouver Film School and complete her degree and get into this business, great, I will support it. I think education, like I mentioned earlier on, I try to learn something every week. I think you can never stop learning. I just want to make sure that the money is well spent. I would hate to think that we're spending money going to university and then when you come out, you're not making any money out of it. So, but Vancouver is the place to be if that's the business you want in. I mean, you've got Pixar's up there now. You've got Lionsgate was founded there. My daughter was born in Lionsgate Hospital. So,
wow.
Yeah. So, if the industry that she wants to go in, she's living in the right town. So, I am not going to say yes and I'm not going to say no because I don't want to dissuade people from getting an education. But I am not 100%. I'm not 100% sure that spending $120,000 on an education if this is what you want to do, I did it without it. And if you're passionate about it and you love to do it, my last intern, he just went through university, but he had a passion for it and he loved it. And I told him, I said, you know what, you're going to be good at this because you have a love for it. And if you do what you love to do, then, it is what it is.
Yeah,
So,
but like you said, education is important, but you can get an amazing education online now. And I'm not saying online in university. I'm saying like Grayscale Gorilla or Film Riot or there's so many resources out there.
absolutely. Yeah, there's some great resources out there. I mean, I did have a lynda.com account, which was great because there's some great instructors there. But I found another one last week, which I actually let my lynda.com account expire, and I'm going to go to this new one. I found, what was it called? Digital. I said, well, we'll find it. It's off the top of my head. I can't remember right now, but I'll find it and I'll post it here later.
Okay.
It's a great site, and it's got some really good training. You can get a free account there, and I think there's like 200 or 300 tutorials that you could go through, but there's literally thousands on there.
Wow.
And it's a great site. And literally for the same price that you pay lynda.com for this industry, perfect, because all it does is focus on, and I'm finding training there that you wouldn't find at other places. I mean, a full-blown training program on Resolve, which I always found was hard to find, but they've got guys out there which are great. So,
Eric Franks, no, that is not the end. No, Paul, no, that is not what that is. I can guarantee you that's not what he was talking about.
No, no. But I tell you what, though, to give credit where credit's due, Perry, Chuck, and Eric produce some of the best training out there, and I use their material. I did a training course 2 months ago up in North Carolina. A company asked me to come up and teach them photography and video production just for a week, just to show them how to do interviews and stuff like that. And I actually showed a lot of Perry's and Chuck's and Eric's videos there, and they loved them. I mean, and it's still relevant today.
It is.
Yeah.
I wish I could convince Eric to redo some of it, but
Absolutely, yeah.
it's absolutely 100% valid, and it's unfortunate that it lives where it lives.
Yeah, well, I bet. Yeah, unfortunate it is, but you can find it in other places. I think some of them are on YouTube. But,
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, little plug for Eric. The Eric Franks said some of the best training in the world from him.
Eric said I had a half season. Yeah, I remember being told the second that my first episode went up said that if the show didn't do well, I would be fired. I'm like, I love this place. Great motivational speech there, buddy. And it was done over Skype. I'm like, way to have that's not chicken shit at all. Oh, right.
Was that D or V told you that?
That was D while V was holding the laptop. They do everything together,
Yeah.
It's not good cop, bad cop. It's bad cop, molester cop. So, so anyway, going back, Courtney has a good question. She said, where do you see yourself in 10 years from now?
Just for pure disclosure, Courtney is actually my daughter.
Okay.
She's at my house right now tuning in. And she goes, I'm going to ask some questions, Dad. I said, fire away.
Nice.
Well, thanks for joining in, Courtney.
Yes.
10 years from now? Oh, man, if I'm not on a beach in Bali somewhere drinking margaritas, I'm going to be really disappointed. I don't know. The goal and the plan is to continue to build the business. We want to continue to build this to the point where I don't have to come here anymore and I can hire really talented people to do the work for me. And I just come in each week and sign the paychecks and reap the rewards.
Love that.
I take one day at a time. I continue, I have a goal. I'd like to be retired in the next 10 years. I'm 50 next week. So it's, there's fewer days ahead than there are behind. So, life is precious and I want to spend some more time with my family and do stuff. So I spend a lot of time here. And, as creating that work-life balance. You're lucky, like I am. I work with my wife, so I spend a lot of time with her at work. But it's not quality time because you're so busy dealing with this and dealing with that. We want to spend some more time doing some other stuff. So, the goal is to make enough money that we can retire and then go from there. But
I won't go too in depth into this, but the attacks that happened really just miles away from both of us, did that make you realize or make you think, I really need to spend a little bit more time with my wife, not involved with the business?
No, I refuse to be dictated by assholes of the world. And
I understand.
did it change the way I run my life? Not one bit. So screw you guys because it didn't work.
Right.
Unfortunately, there are a lot of people that paid the price for that, and that does hit home. Especially now, I was born and raised in London, so I've been witness to IRA bombs going off. I had an IRA bomb go off a mile from me, and I was one of the first people on scene when I was very young. I was Christmas time. I was shopping up. My mum took us up Christmas shopping, and we were in where was Selfridges in Oxford Street or Regent Street, and there was an IRA bomb scare, and we had to get out of the building. So I think unfortunately the American lifestyle has been forced to wake up to what a lot of the rest of the world have experienced. I mean, the Israelis, they've dealt with it their whole life. I mean, we complain about waiting half an hour to get through a security line. Try to go through a security line in Tel Aviv. Every bag is pressure checked. I mean, there's no bombs that go off in Tel Aviv on planes because they've got their security down. We're playing catch up, and it's one of those things. The Paris attacks. I mean, my wife and I and our kids are going to go to. We're going to Germany this year, and there's a lot of stuff going on. There was an attack in Germany just last week. An idiot with a gun.
Yeah.
But I refuse to be dictated to by terrorists. I won't give in to their demands or what it is they want to do, because basically they just live on your fears. They want you to change the way you run your life, because if they do that, then you'll get upset at the establishment for doing that, and I won't let that happen. And I encourage everybody else to do exactly the same thing.
I agree. I'm not gonna let some asshat tell me what's up. The only thing that happened with us is we haven't had that experience. This was the first time. We've obviously seen what's happened in the States before, but not this close to home, and not. I mean, I don't know if you know Amy Pearsall or not, but I did a photo shoot with her at Pulse, and we have friends of friends who unfortunately didn't make it through the event. So this is the first time. So it didn't change the way we live our lives. I'm blessed to be working with Stephanie every day, but we did shut down the company and say from this point until we feel it necessary, we're just going to focus on each other. So, So anyway, also talking about craziness, Ben King wants to know, and Ben, just so you know, this show has a rated M rating on iTunes, so you feel free to drop it all. But Ben King says, being originally a Britisher, what do you make of the craziness of the UK right now? 10 words or less and no swearing. You're allowed to swear. So.
Yeah, my daughter's listening.
Yeah, so don't swear.
She hears me swear all the time. But political question about Britain. In my opinion, it was an idiotic move driven by fear, and now, lo and behold, it's starting to come out. They played on fears, and people voted on those fears, and it's not going to make a blind bit of difference. I mean, the day after the vote, the pound drops to its lowest number since in 35 years. It's great for us because our dollar just got really strong. I'm about to buy a whole bunch of euros, so we're going to have a great time in Germany. I think a couple of extra beers in the beer garden. But for Britain, I think it was a bad mistake. I mean, I remember when, even before it was the European market, it was called the common market back in the 70s. And the common market has been good for England, I think. It's a different world now than it was 40 years ago. Britain is not the same powerhouse they used to be. The world is flat, and there is a lot more. The political climate has changed, and I don't know if this is going. I mean, I may be wrong. I don't, pertain to being a global economist or anyway, but I have family over there. Every one of them voted no, and I think the people got scared. They wanted to, it was all boils. A lot of it, they say no, but I think a lot of it was boiled around immigration, and they wanted to try and close their borders. Ironically, the British borders always have been closed. You still need a passport to get in. You just can't walk in.
Right.
But I'm an immigrant myself. I came
we
here.
all are, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I'm a first generation immigrant, and. I live in one of the greatest countries in the world. I've been privileged to live in a great country. I was born and raised in a great country. I lived in Canada for 10 years, which is a great country, and I live in the U.S., which is a great country. So, I'm here, and I'm here to stay. Unless I unless I get kicked out for some reason or other.
Nah, no, you're not getting kicked out. We love you. Everybody loves you. You're not getting kicked out. Go ahead.
All right, so we'll get back.
Yeah, let's bring it back to video production. Things a little less heavy. Thanks,
There we
Ben.
go.
Thanks, Ben, for turning this into CNN or whatever. But
So talking about going back to education, what advice would you give to someone new to the industry? They have all this education, they're going out, they're ready. What would your thoughts be on advice for them?
You know what? You asked that question of Adam on Tuesday, and he nailed it on the head. Network, network, network.
Yeah.
Get as many people in your arsenal of when your address book as you can. Spend the time, go out, meet people, get to know people in the industry. If this is the industry you want to be in and you truly love it, then build an army of giants. I used to say, my ex-boss, one of his favorite sayings was, build an army of giants. And I've done that, not personally, but just in connections. I've got you guys sitting right in front of me right here. If I have a question and I don't even know the answer to, I can just text Sean and say, hey, dude, you ever heard of this? What is your opinion on this? I've got Eric. I can call up Eric. I see Eric all the time. He's great for some really good information. So, get to know people in the industry. Get to know people that are good in the industry. Get to know people that are bad in the industry, because you can always good to know. It's always interesting to see how bad things can make you better. You learn from mistakes and find yourself a really good mentor. And if that person is willing to, take you under his wing, take it for everything you can get and use it. Like I say, I'm 50 next week and I'm still learning. We all are. And I try to do something every week. Where even if it's late at night, I would try to learn something. And like I say, just network, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's what we agree with that completely.
you mentioned mentors, and mentors are really, really important to me. I have several, both in visual effects and film, as well as entrepreneurs. Who are your mentors, and what kind of mentors are they to you?
People I look up to as far as mentors. Well, I will say that my ex-boss, Jim Knight, he's not a video producer by any way, shape, or form, but he was one of the best bosses I ever had, and he taught me how to be a good boss. Eric Franks, he's sitting at home saying bullshit, but it's not. Eric is one of the smartest guys I know, always willing to give an opinion. May not always be the right opinion, but he's willing to give it, and you're never short of getting an interesting conversation out of him.
Love Eric. Eric's an amazing human being.
Yeah. I don't get to speak to him very often, and we don't have that tight of a relationship, but I always try to see what Perry's doing, Perry Jenkins.
Yeah.
Like I say, one of the best shooters and directors I've ever had the privilege of knowing. Super nice guy. And I guess, and my wife.
Oh, that's
She's
awesome.
The one that makes me go to work every day, and the one that, the reason I come to work. So. Eric.
Oh, Eric. We have to get you on the show, Eric. It's going to happen
Yes.
one day. All right, so let's be honest. Being in video is one thing, and running a business is entirely another. They have literally nothing to do with one another. You just happen to be running a video production business. So let's talk a little bit about what it's like to run a small business. And we've said off the air, there's peaks and valleys. And as a small business owner ourselves, there's days where the bank account is zero, and then there's days that there's plenty. And so talk about what it's like to be a small business of really two people and that you're hiring right now. But talk to us about what it's like to run a small business in this economy.
Well, right now I'm sitting in the chair that does the editing. Hang on a second. I'm going to move to the chair that does the accounting.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
I'm going to move to my marketing chair. I do it all right here in this chair. So that's one of the biggest problems is, you sometimes when you do run your own business, one of the sacrifices you have to make is that you're not going to be spending all the time doing what you love. You're going to have to do some of the shitty stuff too, which means, I got to do the accounting. I've got to figure out the taxes every year. I've got to chase down. Did we lose a feed? Or was that me? All right,
You're good.
I have to chase down, invoices that are stale. And one of the biggest challenges that we get in this business is, paying the bills, getting people to pay their bills. They're willing to push you to get the work done quick enough, and then you send them the invoice and you're waiting 60 days to get a check. We're a small business. We need that we need that influx of money. I mean, I got a mortgage to pay.
Right.
I got food to put on the table. I don't have, a bottomless pit of money, and please pay your bills. We've got, one of the things that we pride ourselves. We don't nickel and dime our clients. If they want to change here, or if, we've worked. I mean, I'm working here tonight. We work on Saturdays and Sundays to get jobs done. If you need something done, we will do it. We don't always nickel and dime you. We don't charge you extra for that. That's just the customer service that we do. The whole idea is that we'll give you what you need, we'll get it done in time, and they're coming back to us, and we're finding that they do come back to us, and they just like working with us. But pay your bills, and I should say, it's not really my client's fault, because the people I work with are great. Some of the contacts I have are great. It's just their accounting department have their rules and regulations, and paying their bills is a pain. So that's an issue. And then when you do have the valleys and it's quiet days, and you've got to spend some time on the phones and go out and look for that work. I'm lucky. I've never advertised. I've never had to. I'm not making millions. I'm paying my mortgage, sometimes barely, but we're getting through. I've been doing it 3.5 years full time now, but it's just going out and finding that, making sure that there's a constant stream of work. And again, networking, always increasing your network to try and find more work.
Yeah, it's not easy, and I admire you for doing it. We don't know too many people who are owning businesses, and I love to stay in touch with my fellow business owners, because it's a whole different world. And sometimes you just, for me anyway, I just want to just flip the table, drop the F-bomb and walk away.
Yeah. I see Ben asked a question, do you ever get shows like NBC or IBC? No. NAB. Oh, do I ever get to go to shows like NAB? I love going to NAB, one of my favorite places to go. My biggest problem is I've 2 years in a row now, I've made plans to go. I've actually text Sean and say, hey, dude, I'm coming out. You want to meet up? And every time within the 11th hour, a job comes up that has to be done the week of NAB. I should make a better job of canceling that time out and saying, sorry, I'm out of town. But, when jobs come in, the jobs come in. But I'm definitely going to try and make NAB next year. It's been 3 years since I've been, and I like spending that time networking and going around and.
Oh, that's the best part. Most of the gear you already know about online, but the best part is networking. And if you ever get a chance to hang out with Ben and company, it's a unique experience. He really is the king of NAB.
Yeah, I'd love to come out and meet you, Ben. I mean, last time I was out there, I got to spend some time with you and Eric Hartman.
Love Eric Hartman.
Yeah, he's a super great guy. So, and that was nice, because I got to spend some time with him and his lovely wife one night. We went out for dinner, and but it's I don't get a chance to see them very often. So everybody's at the same spot. So it's a great time to be able to catch up with people and find out what's going on.
Deb has a great question, and for us, we are on a permanent 120-day net with Disney. That's just the contract that they have globally, and there are no deposits. For you, are you able to get deposits on projects, or is it usually net 30, 60, 90?
Guess what I just did before I came on here? I just sent an invoice out for an initial deposit, 50% deposit up front, and 50% on completion. And I tend to do that if the job is going over a certain limit. I mean, if it's a small job like something that you're going to knock out in a couple of days, it does make sense, because you'll have the job finished before you even get the deposit. But this one involves, I've subcontracted some of the stuff out. I have a writer, the instructional designer that I'm using. So I have her do the writing, and then I'll do the building of the actual content. So, if I have to pay somebody else to do the work, and I'm not like, some of the companies I have to deal with. If I hire somebody to do the work, when they've done it, I'll give them a check. If I have actors that come in and work for me to do a gig, I give them a check. I don't make them wait weeks and weeks and weeks. I make sure that, there's money up front to pay them ahead of time. That's what the deposit's for. So, anything like that, I try to get a deposit. Plus, if it is that big of a job and I'm spending weeks and weeks and weeks on it, if I'm doing that, I'm not doing anything else. I'm a one-man band here, so if it's just a one job, I can't afford to wait 2 months or 3 months to get that check sometimes. So if you want me to work on your project, I'd be happy to do it. You need to pay up front, and so I try to get at least a 50% deposit up front.
That's
and
cool.
it's worked for me, and it's worked for me so far.
That's fantastic. That is, I wish I was Graham.
Yeah, but I don't go after the Disney accounts. That's not our niche. We go after the corporate accounts that that don't have those big pockets of money. They just want a video done, and we do that, and I get it, and those particular companies are willing to pay it.
So they say that psychologically, if you were to change your office around or even move locations, even if it's just to another room in your house, in theory, that unblocks your mind and you're able to be creative again. Do you believe in that, or you don't have that issue? Do you ever have any creative blocking?
Not from moving I mean, sometimes I think it comes with tiredness. If I get super tired, sometimes you just don't want to think, and you just need to take that time for yourself and get away. So, you know, sometimes just going home and cutting the grass and just taking your mind off of it for a while.
Sure.
And down here in Florida, as you know, grass grows very quickly in the
Yes,
summer,
it does.
Yes.
and you'll lose 10 pounds straight away by just going cutting the grass because you just sweat your ass off. So sometimes it's just, you just need to get away and disconnect yourself. And I think another thing that I tried to do is, you don't know everything. You don't have the insight to everything. Get other people's eyes on it. Sometimes you get so close on a project that sometimes you lose sight of it, and get a fresh perspective. I get my wife Paige to come and say, take a look at this and tell me what you think. And she'll give me honest feedback. And she'll go, yeah, you know what? You should change this. You should change that. You know what? It's staring me right in the face and I didn't see it.
Right.
And you need that, especially if you've been working on something for 14 hours straight. You just need to get that another pair of eyes on it. So, don't be afraid to ask for help or ask for a second opinion, because, in this job, you can't have thick skin. You've got to be able to bend with the wind and make those changes. So.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. Ben had a great question. He said, what sort of hours do you keep? Do you try to limit the hours?
Good question, Ben. I drive my hours based on the workflow. If I got a lot of work, then, I'll do the work and I'll do it. I know that because, sometimes we do get those quiet times, and then that gives me a chance to get away. But, one of the things that my wife and I, we've done in a couple of years now, is we try to have mental health days. And when she was working, and we all do it, everybody calls in sick and goes to Disney.
Right.
And we've done it. Sometimes we'll just go. We have Universal passes, or we did have Universal passes.
So do we. Yeah.
And we'll just go to Universal for the day. And she doesn't even ride a lot of roller coasters. She doesn't like rides, but we just go so we can get away.
Yep.
And that's what we do. So you've got to take some time to get away. But when you work for yourself, there's no such thing as Monday to Friday 9 to 5.
No.
I was here this morning I walked in the store at 7:00 this morning, and I've been on a shoot all day. I got back here at 5:30. I took my daughter home because she was working with me today. I grabbed a bite to eat, and I've come back here, and I've been working and chatting with you guys. So
Right. Courtney wants to know, and I asked Dave this and a couple other people this. Do you have a story inside you that you want to tell, or are you comfortable and happy with the line of work that you're doing right now?
that's a good question. My wife and I have had that conversation quite a few times. Do I ever want to make a movie, or do I want to make a film? She feels like she's got a film inside her that she wants to write. She likes to write, and I like to, try and put a story together. Right now, I just don't have the time, quite frankly. I mean, I would love to do it, but right now, I've got to pay the bills. I'm just I'm not a Spielberg. I don't have that bottomless pit of money where I can take 6 months of sabbatical and go make a film.
Right.
I would love to. I would really love to. But reality bites, and it is what it is. But do I have one inside me? Yeah. I think it's not a film so much. I think I'd like to do a documentary. I'm not too sure about what, but I think I'd like to do a documentary. Maybe about video editors. I don't know. We could do a video
that'd be cool.
about
cool.
the job we do. Just talk about how to.
2.5 hours of someone in front of a glowing screen in the dark.
Yeah. Question number 1: where did you get that haircut, and who did it for you?
I was on a really long Skype call last night with a friend, and he runs a business just like the three of us do, and we were discussing a notion called decision fatigue, and this doesn't really necessarily apply to just video, but everything. Running a business, doing your invoicing, doing your social networking if you do any. You said you don't advertise, so you don't have to worry about that, but you do everything else that you do, running the business, maintaining everything, and then doing the creative. At some point, do you feel like I literally am out of decisions for the day? I can't make another decision, no matter how minute it happens to be.
Yeah, every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite frankly, yeah. I mean, it's par for the course when you have your own business. There are days when you get home and you are just not in this job. It's not a physically demanding job. You're
No.
sitting in this chair, and I got a bad back, and this doesn't help sitting in a chair. My wife is constantly on to me to do more exercise, and you need to look after yourself better. And I try to listen, but I don't do a very good job of it, and I'm the first to admit it. I sometimes go home and I am just shattered, and it's just mentally shattered. I don't know about you, Sean, but me, I can go through bouts of insomnia that will last days, days. I mean, it's
Oh, my
literally,
friend, yes.
yeah. I mean, and it always seems to be around the end of the month when I've got to write those checks. I don't know, but it's there are some times when I would just won't sleep for 4 days, and I'm meaning I won't sleep. I'm laying in bed and I cannot switch off, and I take an Ambien and I'm on an Ambien high for 4 hours because I can't go to sleep, and that's the worst thing because you've got something that's making you tired and you just won't shut down, and I just go sit in the armchair in the front room staring out into darkness hoping that it will catch up, and I know when they're coming. It's weird. I know when it's coming, and I ride the wave, and about 3 or 4 days later, and then I have a good night's sleep and I catch up. But that's par for the course. If you want to run your own business and you don't want a boss telling you what to do when you can go to work and when you can't go to work, that's some of the payment you have to make. And I'm happy to make that payment because I don't have a boss. I can do what I want when I want. So.
Next time you're up, just text me, man, because I'm in the same
He's always
boat.
up.
We should start like an Insomniacs club because after hours, I'm always talking to people because I suffer from it. And it's usually towards the beginning of the month because customers don't spend money. They're paying their rent, their car payments. The majority of your big bills come out at the beginning. So for the first 2 weeks, I'm looking at Steph going, is this the time where I jump off something tall? I mean, what? Like
Yeah.
I'm thinking of getting her to make like $1 million policy on me, and then I'm gonna just like jump off the roof, and that way we're taken care of, or she's taken care of.
Don't do that, dude, because we'd all lose.
Yeah, you're very nice. You're very kind. But yeah, decision fatigue is a nightmare. And but the funny thing is, it's said that we're all willing to work 60 to 80 hours a week to avoid working 40 hours a week for somebody else. So.
Yeah, it's par for the course. You work when you got it, and when you don't, you take the time off. So.
Deb, you're welcome to join the Insomniacs Club. I am literally always up. I got a text message from, was it Kevin McAuliffe the other night? And he's like, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You up? I'm like, hey, man. Just sitting here. The universe hates me.
Well, you said you were going to interview some people from Australia or over on the other side of the pond. So if you do a show at 2 o'clock in the morning,
maybe we could do that.
I'll be on.
Rampant late night, rampant
Late
live,
night.
rampant late night, and it gets really grim.
Let's just add another show. Why not?
I'm doing it. Yeah, but Ben, you're always up, man. I don't think you have insomnia. I think you just don't stop working. I'm always talking to Ben at odd hours, going, dude, I know there's like a 9-hour time difference. What are you doing?
3-8. Where is Ben?
He's in Bristol.
Oh wow.
And you know what? Everybody screwed it up because Bristol was our out in case things hit the fan here in November, and now we're really screwed. I don't know where to go now. Yeah, I'm a vampire as well, Ben.
Yeah, I've been to Bristol a couple of times. Yeah.
Rampant after dark, rampant late night. Yeah, I like all these ideas. Ben, have you ever seen me in the day? You know what, Ben? I don't think you and I have hung out in the day. You make an excellent point. We've always hung out at night.
Oh gosh.
So, yeah, let's talk about something a little bit more fun. Like you just said, you work 7 days a week. Saturday and Sunday are just 2 more
day.
days in the work week. But do you have a hobby or a pastime that the two of you get to just say, screw it? Is it the theme parks, or what do you do?
From a personal hobby, well, I like to dive. The trouble is, though, is finding somebody to go diving with. Anybody that's out there that knows about diving knows that you've always got to have a buddy with you.
Right.
And I did have a buddy that used to go diving with me, and he sort of, he's got himself a new girlfriend now, and that's where his life is taking him now. So, if I can go diving, I'll go diving. I got into it a couple of years ago, and I really, really enjoy it. And I'm not getting any younger, so I want to continue to do it while I still can. One of the other things I just love to do, but I only get to do it once a year if I'm lucky, is to go fishing in England. I've been a fisherman ever since I was born. My dad took me fishing, and I like to go lake fishing in the English countryside for big carp and tench and pike. And to me, I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and get to the lake by 6:30, and I'm just sitting on the lake all day. Whether I catch something or not, I don't care. It's just sitting on the countryside, listening to the birds chirping by the lake and just relaxing, and enough to switch off work. And that's the only time where I can truly switch off work because I'm just focused on fishing. But I don't.
That's
I
awesome.
just. I can't get into fishing over here. The fishing here is different. Unless Ben would know because he lives there. But no, I'm an angler. I'm a float fisherman or a ledger fish. I don't fly fish. So
Well, fishing here involves alligators, so
Yeah, not in the States.
yeah, yeah.
Bit
it's a
of
contact sport. It's not really therapeutic as
different
much as
sport.
it is, a dangerous thing. So fishing, that's cool. I find that very therapeutic. We used to fish at Disney before they shut it all down, but we used to do that a lot.
It's the best kind of
is
fishing
the
because
best.
they bait your hook and you basically you just stick it in the water.
I don't
No.
have to touch anything
I
because
don't
it's
touch
yucky.
anything, you
Oh
just
no. I
stick
mean,
it in
some
the
of
water.
I'm
Bloop.
kidding.
I would go fish. I would go fishing in England, float fishing, and one of the things I would do the day before, I'd go down to the local angler shop and I'd buy a pint of maggots, and I would be sitting there with a pint of maggots next to me, and I would be put a maggot on my hook, and then I'd throw a handful out, and then with the same hand, I'd reach down and grab a sandwich and eat the sandwich with my same hand. It's like, hey, I am healthy. I don't have cancer. I don't have a heart attack, and I eat with maggot-colored hands. But hey, it is what it is. God knows what the type of germs are on there. But hey,
Hey, that you know what? That Courtney brings up a great thing. I love this. So you've went diving at the seas.
I did.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, I love.
Yes.
For people who don't know, Disney used to have one of the largest aquariums in the world, and it's still pretty big by any standard, but it's not the biggest anymore. But they allow you to dive, and
Yep.
it's a really cool experience. Why don't you tell us about it?
Well, I got into that. One of my old interns used to work there, and she was a dive master there, and she told me about it and got me in. And it's fabulous. It's great because you don't have to take any of your own gear. You can take your own mask if you want, but they actually won't let you dive with your own gear.
Right.
So you turn up, they give you a wetsuit, they give you all the gear. They take you out into the aquarium. You have to follow them around for 5 minutes because they want to videotape you and sell you a DVD that you don't have to buy. And then you're on your own for 45 minutes in this big old tank, and you can just lay on the bottom and have the sharks swim around you. A great, one of the best things that Disney do, and it's not very well known. And I've done it twice now, and I may go and do it again. And the nice thing about it is when you get out, you get a Disney shower. You get one of the best showers, and then you go to and it's at Epcot, and you go watch the fireworks afterwards, and you're done. And people don't realize that aquarium is actually bigger than the actual ball at Epcot.
Yeah, it's huge.
Big.
It's huge.
Huge.
It's huge. I was asking them. It took them like 3 months to fill that thing.
Yeah.
And they had to do it over time because they said if they did it in one go, the water table in Florida would have dropped down too much. That's
Yeah.
why they had to do it in time. It's like, wow, that's a big tank.
They've run into that situation many times where they've destroyed our power and our water on accident. So they've always. But yeah, that's a really great thing. We always go to the restaurant there to
Yeah,
watch the divers.
We
It's a
watch
lot of
them
fun.
when we eat. It's
And
good.
it's always fun to. A lot of times they'll give us hand gestures, which
We
is
wave.
cool. Yeah, we wave.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah. And you always got to remember you're in a family-friendly park because you get people waving at you and whatever, and you've always got some idiot that wants to do something to you, and you think, you know what, there are kids watching. So, hey,
Yeah, exactly. You're like, ha, 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 you're kind of a douchebag. There
Yeah.
are kids everywhere. Thank
Have
you.
have a Disney day. Don't say no, not that is me.
Oh, well, yeah, when we were both employees or
Yes.
cast members, the thing you say is have a magical day.
Have a magical day.
Kind of like bless you or, what they say in the South, bless you. Is that what they say?
I have no
I forget.
idea.
I don't know. But at Disney, you say have a magical day.
Ben asked if I'd done any underwater photography. Yeah, with my GoPro. I got some great stuff. I shot some stuff with a GoPro in the Cayman Islands. If you want to shoot green moray eels, there's some great stuff. I mean, Cayman Islands is one of the best places to dive. There's
Yeah, it's beautiful.
over 800 dive sites around that little island, and there is some great stuff there. And I've seen some great wildlife in the Caymans. So, yeah, anybody that's thinking about doing a dive, go to the Cayman Islands.
Yeah, we were. Where were we?
We were at Turks.
Yeah, we were in Turks and Caicos.
No,
when we did the-
it was
no.
oh my gosh, what was it called? Tortola.
That's right, Tortola.
Tortola has. We just did snorkeling. I can't do the diving because it messes with my ears. But
Yeah, I tried to get my wife into it, and she agreed to do it, and then she was freaking out, and she had a panic attack. She goes, "I just can't do it. I can't do it." So I had to take all of the gear back, and we cancelled the thing. She just didn't. Oops, excuse me. She just didn't want to do it, and I'm not going to force her to do something she doesn't want to do. So,
Yeah, you don't want to panic too, because then you run out of air pretty quickly.
yeah.
So where do you fish around Florida? You don't fish at all?
I'm lucky in the subdivision I live in. I've got 4 lakes around me, which are stocked full of bass. So if I
Nice.
wanted Sunday morning, me and my neighbor will go down and we'll fish for an hour or so. I haven't done that in a while, but perhaps I should do.
How far out do you go to dive? Do
Uh,
you stay pretty local or?
um, where have I gone? I've done West Palm,
Oh, wow.
down in Florida. There's a really I did a Goliath grouper dive down there, which is great. They do it at a certain time of year, and you can go down there. It's about 110 feet down, and some of the incredible sights you see. These Goliath groupers are the size of minis. I mean, they're
Wow.
huge. Yeah, they're massive, and you can just swim around with them. So I've done that. I did a shark dive down there as well. Jim Abernathy, if anybody that's interested in doing diving, look up Jim Abernathy. He does shark dives down there, and I've gone down there and done some dives. Um, and it's just true. You just go to the bottom of the ocean, and within 10 minutes, you're surrounded by black tips. And I've had a couple of tigers swim around me, and I had a nurse shark swim between my legs. And it's just incredible. And they're not as dangerous as you think. When you're on the bottom of the ocean, they're not going to attack you. They're more curious about you. I mean, every shark attack is because they think you're a fish, and it happens in the surf because they don't know what you are. But 100 feet down, they know exactly what you are. So.
Right.
Right. Makes sense. Yep.
So does anybody have any questions for the world famous Graham Cohen? Anybody else have any additional questions? Thank you so much for your time, and you've been
Yes,
very generous
thank
with
you
your
so
time.
much. I
And
know you've had a
I know
really
you're right in the
long
middle of a
day.
client.
Oh, I'm happy to do
project.
it. I can sit here all night and chat about bullshit about anything you want. It's time we got Frank's in here, though.
You know what?
Let's
You know
get
what?
Frank's on here.
I don't know if we're important enough to get Eric
We gotta
to.
get Eric on here.
I'll text Eric, and there's like a good 72-hour to 3-week response time. So
Yeah, you know what? You're right, because a number of times I've texted Eric and I don't hear anything, and then I call him and then I get an answer, and then all of a sudden he picks up the phone. He goes, "Graham Cohen." I said, "Are you alive? Are you still there? Did you get my text?" Frank's, how old are you? Answer your damn phone and your text every now and then, dude.
I love
But
that. We saw-
joking aside, though, actually he would be a really good person because I think he would give a lot of insight to a lot of people. So Frank's get on here, man.
I love Eric. I've always told him that, and I forget to every year. I'm going to buy him a giant spoon because he loves to stir shit up on the internet.
Of course. Well,
That's
but
his
you know
thing.
what? He's one of the very few people that are smart enough to,
Yeah.
if he stirs it up, he'll give you a run for your money because he just doesn't start up. He can give you an educated conversation about it afterwards. So,
Absolutely. That's why you just don't get involved with the conversation with Eric because you will lose. You will just lose.
seriously, how old are you today?
Is today your birthday?
I'm actually 49 still. I am not 50 until next week. So,
Oh,
Well,
okay.
happy birthday.
Happy pre-birthday.
Yeah, happy pre-birthday.
yeah, I am 49. I'll be 50 on Wednesday.
I don't know what Ben's asking, but I'll ask it. What's your favorite tipple? I don't know what that is.
He's thinking, what do I like to drink? I don't drink that much just because I suffer from migraines and they tend to trigger it. But
Right.
when I was living in Blighty, one of my favorite drinks, and you can still get it now, is Directors, just Courage Directors. I used to drink that a lot. But now I'm more of I'll drink ciders or I'll drink anything with vodka in it.
I love me some vodka.
Yeah, I'll do vodka. And I see that Steph has already polished off that martini in front. I have the exact same glass, but in blue. I think
Oh, do you?
Why
Yeah,
don't
I bought 2 of those for my wife in blue instead of red.
Why don't you tell the fine audience here what was the last vodka drink that you ordered?
There may have been a time where we were at a bar and I ordered vodka, or I ordered Stoli with a splash of vodka. I believe
Yeah.
is what I said.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you Stoli with a flash of vodka.
Yeah,
I
Stoli
like
with a splash of vodka.
The bartender just
The
stared at
bartender
her.
just stared at me, and I was like, "Oh, with a splash of Coke."
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, it was fun. We do like vodka. We enjoy that. So, well, we don't want to take up any more of your time. Thank you so much. But I do have one last question for you.
Yep.
If you could go back in time
yes.
and tell 21-year-old Graham anything, what would it be? What would be your advice, or what would you say?
Wise up. You know what? When I was 21, I was extremely immature. Like I think a lot of us were. You seem to think that you could take on the world. I did take on the world. I decided to leave home, and then what a lot of people did, leave home and just go get an apartment. I left home and moved to the other side of the world. I got rid of my safety net, and I think if I had to go back and tell myself, I would turn around and say, don't be so arrogant with your life and follow the dream that you really want to do. And if I would have done that earlier, I think I would have been in a different place. But it's, I've always prided myself on doing, my dad has a saying, have the courage of your convictions. And I think that, if you can do that and, be proud of who you are, and, you're going to make some bad turns, you're going to make some good turns. But at the end of the day, we're all on a journey, and you have that right path. And, my path has worked out. I've got a fabulous family. I've got a wonderful daughter. I've got 2 wonderful stepchildren. I've got a great wife, and I've got my own business. So I'm living the American dream. And I just wish that dream would not be a nightmare at times. But it is what it is. But yeah, I think if it was one thing, just don't be so arrogant.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
I think humility and lack of arrogance is a wonderful thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, man.
It's been a great show, and
I had fun.
oh, well,
Yes,
thank you.
We love Graham.
for
We've known
doing
you,
this.
like I said, we've known you for almost a decade now.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot of common friends.
I tell you what, we don't get to see each other very often. We need to do that more often.
We do. That involves us leaving our desks. So
Yeah.
yes,
Well, perhaps I'll come over to you and see exactly what it's like doing it in there, because I haven't been to your new dig. So
you are welcome to check it out, and then you will be very disappointed with how low tech things really are.
look
here.
at those wonderful awards you got behind you. So don't be so modest, dude. Yeah.
They don't pay the rent, my friend. They don't pay the rent. I'm honored to be a part of those projects, but you know as well as I do that it's all about the grind, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, man.
Yes, thank you very
You're awesome.
much.
Thank you everybody
Thank
for joining
everyone
in.
for coming and watching.
Graham's a
and
rock star.
listening.
Graham brought in a lot more people than we had the other night. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh wow, 110 comments. There we go.
Yeah. So
Woo.
so thank you to everybody. Thanks Eric Franks. Thanks Ben King. Thanks Deb Eschweiler, Eric Addison, Daniel Bernard, Michael Duckworth, Sarah. Sarah jumped in. Hey Sarah. Thanks for jumping
Sarah.
in. Michael Kamas. April. Say hey to April.
Hey, April.
April is family. And thank you to Courtney, which is your family. So thank you everybody for
Yes,
jumping
thank
in.
you.
And we
Oh,
love you guys.
by the way, I just wanted to say, Deb, I really enjoyed your show when you were on. Very, very interesting.
Deb was it was a great show. We're going to bring her
Yes.
back on the show
We're gonna get her
because
on here.
she was unfortunately in the blab hell, and we've abandoned that. Obviously, we're on Facebook Live, so we're going to get Deb back in the rotation.
Yep.
Because
Well,
she's so
when I
awkward.
watched the show, I felt I had a kindred spirit because hey, she's saying exactly what I have to go through every single day. She's a small business owner and she has to pay her bills too. It's like wow, cool. So yeah, I really enjoyed Deb's show.
Yeah, Deb's always been awesome. You just always want to hug her. She's like the nicest person
She's
on the
so
planet.
nice.
So yes, I'm glad that she was on the show. We're gonna get her back on,
Yeah.
and of course we want to get you back on a little bit later too, and because
Absolutely.
you're family man. So thank you so much, everybody.
Yes, thank you. And don't forget, you can find all of the replays at rampantlive.com on YouTube, and it'll be on iTunes and Stitcher tomorrow. So you can listen in your car if you've missed it, or you want to see other episodes as well. Check out Rampant Live. And that's it for that. Oh, and don't miss Happy 4th of July to everyone. It's going to
Yep.
be for all of the Americans. And Tuesday, we have the world famous Kevin P. McAuliffe, who's going to be joining us and
Indeed.
Great.
telling us all about his life and his world. So join us on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Thanks again,
and
Graham.
and happy Canada Day tomorrow for all my Canadian friends.
Oh, there you
Tomorrow's
go.
Canada Day. All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I have no idea what that is.
I
so
don't either, but
I'm a typical ignorant American, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But happy Canada Day. We have so many Canadian
Yes, we
friends.
do.
I'm a
Happy Canada
terrible
Day.
friend. Terrible friend. Thank you so much, Graham.
Thank you,
You are
Graham.
awesome. And
bet.
thanks for putting up with our nonsense while you have a client project waiting. So thank you. That's
Well, I'm happy to do it. It was a nice break from the day. So,
Is there
Right.
anywhere people can find you online?
artechmedia.com. Actually, we're going through a redesign of our website right now.
Okay.
But if anybody wants to reach out, I'm Graham at artechmedia.com and or Rock You Guy at Rock You Guy on Twitter or right here on Facebook.
We'll put
I'm
all your
always-
information in the
stuff down.
description so people can hook
Absolutely,
up with
yeah. I'm
Yep.
always part of the Rampant user group, so
Yeah, he's-
I'm always looking. So
you. He's one of many loyal. He's one of the few loyal. I shouldn't say many loyal. There's like 4. Thank you so much, Graham. You're awesome. Thank you, everybody, and we will catch you all on Tuesday.
On Tuesday, don't
Okay.
miss us, 9 p.m.
All right.
Eastern.
I'll be
Bye,
here.
guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.